So hi there guys, my name is Isabel Hoffman. I'm a lifestyle chef and welcome to yet another Viavi Thursdays for Join the Evolution. So welcome Matt. I'm here with Matt Carter from Tribeca Coffee, and today we're asking the question, is an avocado just another avocado? And while we are speaking about Viavi avocados, is there actually really a difference in the taste? But Matt, you are the expert and you've got a lot of things on paper here, as well as 3 different avocados that we're hopefully going to be tasting today.
Definitely.
So I'm going to hand over the floor to you because you are the expert and I'm just here to taste avocados, of course.
Awesome, thank you. It's lucky to be here, eating, talking about food, coffee, wine, chocolate. It's all such important things. So yeah, we do have some things on paper, but before we get to that, you mentioned, is an avocado just another avocado?
Yeah.
And drilling down into it, we've realized that no, it's not. And that's the incredible thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time when I eat chocolate, for example, if it's a nice high quality single origin chocolate, roasted and crafted beautifully in Cape Town somewhere, you don't want to just pop that in your mouth, chop it and eat it. And you want to really drill down into those flavors and kind of work out what the underlying flavors of that chocolate is.
Yeah.
It's one of my...
Matt, I'm going to have to stop you there. Already, Matt is sounding like the chocolate expert because usually when we consume chocolate, majority of us out there, we don't think of the single origin and this and that. So I think you're going to have to just tap a little bit into those sort of profiles for the chocolatiers 101 people out there.
Well, let me put it like this. There is a chocolate out there that has popping candy and jellies and all sorts of things in it, and when I eat that, I don't think about it at all. I just put it in my face and absolutely pig out on it, which is great. In my real life, every day, I actually work with coffee. And coffee is another one of those things that we really have these subtle flavor profiles around. A lot of times when I drink a coffee, I'll slurp the coffee. You'll take it, like the aspirate is the more technical term.
We do it with wine as well.
Yes, with wine, you've got that light aspiration which allows all the airs to come through and you really pick up those flavor profiles. And there's often times when I work in a lab and I travel often to farms and we taste the coffee, we're really looking for subtle nuances and the difference between high altitude and low altitude. But then there's often times sitting around having a coffee with a friend, we'll just drink the coffee and you're completely not paying attention to it. But I think, and we've done the same thing with avocados, where I'll just smash an avocado onto toast, salt, pepper, off you go. But there's something that we've been working now is, what are the differences between high altitude, low altitude, seasonal differences, rainfall patterns, beginning of season, end of season, and really, is there a difference? And then obviously your varietal, cultivar, there's massive differences between that, and we've experienced that.
So I'm actually going to be quite cheeky and say, like, lately I've been experimenting quite a lot with Viavi, and I do believe, because it's such a creamy avocado, that as soon as you mix it with a almond milk, I call it my avocado cream. And I often find that people, when they consume avocado, because they love lemon juice so much, because yes, first of all, you know, lemon juice helps the avo not turn brown because of the oxidation so quickly, but you sort of hide the good quality and the creaminess of the avocado. And I find the same with coffee. Sometimes you can hide the quality of coffee with a full cream milk. And yes, well, we claim, or Viavi claim to say that it's the creamiest avocado, and you don't actually need that lemon juice in order to assist with the oxidation process. So hopefully if you eat it without the lemon juice, you can taste that creaminess, and that's why I'm so excited to see this results that you came out with today.
We got a lot of results, but I think, so I want to go through the results, but I also want to develop some of our own results and really go through, how do we taste an avocado? What are the protocol? And there's nothing like this out there at the moment, which is great. This is a first. So we really go into the beginning and tasting an avocado for the first time, essentially, and trying to really drill down into those flavors. And it's kind of like layers. So you want to work in the layers. So you're going to start with the smell. How does the avocado smell? And it's that green, and we've got for the Viavi, we've got on aroma, we've got a nutmeg and a green apple. Sort of aromas coming through. The fuerte, we've got the botanical, fresh cut grass sort of aromas. And that's where you want to start. And I think you'll know from your work with food. that sight and smell is one of your major senses when you're actually
100%.
eating food.
Yes.
And then just being very aware of the texture in your mouth and any other flavors that are coming through. So there are days where you're in a rush, you're going to smash that ever onto toast.
Yeah.
But when you're really tasting your coffee, your chocolate, your wine, you want to spend a little bit of time, slow down a bit.
Appreciate
just-
the quality of
that's
the
it.
product itself.
Especially when it's these high quality coffees, wines,
I
chocolates,
agree with you.
avocado.
100%.
Spend some time with it. The farmer has spent years developing a brand like this,
Yeah.
or whatever like this. And coffee, we say that 1 cup of coffee, there's about 200 man hours that go into making 1 cup of coffee.
Really?
So
So,
that
next
is-
time when you're drinking a good quality cup of coffee, you remember the amount of hours that went into that perfect cup.
Yeah, and that's to take those last 30 seconds is throw it down. It's a bit, show a bit of
Slap in the
respect maybe.
face.
Yeah.
Slap in the face.
Not every
farmer
cup.
out there.
Yeah, not every cup. Sometimes you're in a rush, you just got to caffeine into the
Yes.
system or have it on your toast. But sometimes just slow down a bit.
Okay.
So we decided to go a little bit scientific on this,
Okay.
just so we could really try to get it. We conducted with a panel of 5 people
Okay.
over 3 days. We conducted these tests, and the first thing is to get a quarter of each avocado, and then just a normal tablespoon. And
Okay.
this is just to remove the fruit from the skin. So you're going to smell it away from the skin and then
Okay.
up on the skin as well. Often,
Okay.
especially these days with hand sanitizers and
Yes.
hand creams, you smell it and it's right here, and all you smell is alcohol burn or
Yeah,
hand cream or
100%.
whatever. So you want to actually take it away, and the spoon is that sterile environment, so you don't
Okay.
pick up all those aromas.
Okay, and just because in my mind it needs to make sense, and of course to whoever's watching this video today, it also needs to make sense. Now, when it comes to the profiles of coffee, you make use of that sort of taste wheel. Is
Yeah.
that not correct? Is that then, can I sort of show people at home, we are busy with sort of this wheel that we're going to be working with. Is that correct?
So this here is going to actually be our how we're going to
Can I show it
evaluate.
like
Yeah,
that?
sure.
Yes.
So we're going to evaluate the avocado based on this. The
Mm-hmm.
flavor wheel is all these adjectives that we put into a lexicon that then goes onto the flavor wheel. So that's going to. I've actually asked the team up at Maluma and Viavi to send me some bad avocados, which obviously the customers and people don't want, but I do because I want to put more flavors into that. So this is an
Okay.
intensity scale. So we broke it down into a few little parts, as it were.
Okay.
So and then the intensity. So you can also have intensely bitter in a dark chocolate, for example, or a good coffee.
Yes.
That could be delicious. That's
Yeah.
good. But if in an avocado, we don't necessarily want an intense bitterness. We want more of the sweetness coming through.
Yes.
So it's an intensity scale, but based with a pleasant experience. So if the texture, it's got a lot of creamy, thick, viscous mouthfeel, and it's a really great experience,
Yeah.
as opposed to a light body, flash in the pan sort of thing with a bad experience. That's how we're going to fill that in. It turns into a bit of a spider graph when we put it
Okay.
together, and that's where we get balance from.
And then of course 1 to 5. That is sort of just
so,
the intensity.
So 0 is right in the middle. That's non-existent or one of the worst experiences you've ever had. So yeah, so it should be 5 is. I mean, if an angel cried and it ever fell on the ground, that's a 5.
Oh, fantastic.
So
and
that's
I'm
our
going to be
scale.
cheeky and say, I think that's where
Five's all right.
Viavi avocados is going to be. So where do we start and what do we
So
do?
let's get some avocados.
Yes.
Let's start with the Viavi because
Okay.
it's a wonderful experience to cut as well. So we're actually going to start on the outside. We're going to look at color. We're going to we got the variety on our paper here. Well, the cultivars, the Viavi, Maluma, skin color. We've got this wonderful dark.
So we
what do you
actually call
this
it
colour?
pebbly. So it's quite a
Pebbly.
pebbly, dark purpley color.
Yeah.
Where I find that the haze is more like a red purpley color when it starts to ripen
Okay.
further, but it's also a little bit less pebbly. And I think we can sort of, when we compare it to the next one, we will be able to see it.
Get a better idea.
Yeah.
So that's the skin color. Then if there's any blemishes, the blemishes are more on the inside.
Yeah.
And you do get ones that have
Oh,
you know,
look at him cut that avocado just like a farmer.
like butter.
Like
In my
butter.
heart, I'm a farmer.
Such a perfectly ripe
One day I'll be a
avocado.
farmer. And then obviously we can look in the inside. and there it is.
And already you can see one of the sort of differentiating factors for the Viavi is of course the smaller seed. Smaller seed means more food,
Yes.
and that is always a plus to the home consumer, of course, because it means you can feed more people.
Or just more for yourself,
Oh,
in my case.
that's of course as well, yes.
So I don't see any blemishes here.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go to a store and aunties have squeezed all of them and bruised them. But we
Yes.
don't get that here, obviously. So these look great. I don't see any blemishes. So we're going to cut it into quarters.
Okay. Quarters. Let's hope he cuts them perfectly in 4 pieces because I don't want him to eat
give you
more
that.
than I do.
Cheers, I'll cut you cheese.
Look at that. Okay. And of course, one of the other differentiating factors for Viavi is, of course, it's got less stringy fibers. And I mean, this flesh looks pretty smooth to
It's
me.
incredible. Yeah, there's no faults that I can see. So visually we've assessed it.
Yeah.
So next thing we want to do is an aroma test. So we'll start, if you grab that quarter.
Okay.
You can just, I know we do, like I said, we have hand creams sometimes, but you also want to just see if there's anything good or bad on the aroma. So just give it a good smell, and then we can get our spoon. And you want to get
We are smelling some Viavi today.
kind of a large grape size sample in your spoon.
Yeah.
So we're looking sort of about that size.
Okay.
And then give it another smell. And this is now away from the skin. So it gives us a
Would
bit
you
more.
say there's already a difference in what you're going to be smelling if it's away from the skin?
It's more to avoid your hands, to be honest. So
Okay.
just in case you
Fair
have
enough. Fair
hand
enough.
sanitizers and all these things that we have at the moment. So it's more to prevent that. But if there is something on the skin that you want to pick that up as well.
Okay, makes sense.
So give it a good smell again. And there, immediately I'm picking up the nutmeg and the green apple as the last sample. And that's
Fresh, very fresh.
very fresh. And we're trying to define green, because it smells green. And that's where that green apple, with the spice, with the fresh cut grass, was all coming together. We said green, but you really have to dig deep.
So
and
today
find those
Max actually
flavors.
answered a very important question for me, because I always used to say, how do you explain color to a blind person?
Yeah.
So if you ever had to explain the color green to a blind person, then I would say, smell an avocado,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
I would. Yeah. So we got a smell, and it's a delicious aroma. It's
Yeah.
it's a really great
Yes.
aroma. There's no off aromas. Do you pick up any other aromas? I think people just
I smell nature, and I'm not
Nature,
sure it's
yeah.
because I grew up on a farm, but to me, yeah, you just smell the outdoors. And I play golf too, so
Yeah,
I'm not
that
saying
lawn.
I'm smelling the golf course, but
Yeah.
you do smell
Yeah.
like the grass ends,
It's
right?
that very, I think earthy might be the word.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very much so. Okay.
So we've got that. So now from that we want to look at flavor.
Okay.
Now flavor for us is aroma, taste, and any other adjectives that we can use. But taste, we've got the 5 main tastes: the sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami. So those are the main tastes we're going to pick up, and that's just a sense that you pick up on your tongue. So you've got the sweetness, and you can pick that up straight away. If there's saltiness, the sweetness is often highlighted. And then if there's the bitterness, that's more towards the aftertaste. And then that umami, rich, I think it's direct, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think its direct translation is delicious flavor from the Japanese.
Yeah.
So we're looking for those sort of flavors and taste. And so taste, smell, and kind of come together. We have this library.
Yeah.
I think if you look at a toddler, if you put something in their hand, where's the first thing that thing goes? Straight into the mouth.
Yeah.
So our whole life we're building this library of flavors. So people say, I don't know how to taste. I'm like, you've been tasting for 38 years, you know how to taste. So people do know. We just need to unlock that library and start to pull books off the shelf. And that's where lexicons and diagrams and all these things start to help us.
Wow.
So let's have a taste.
Yes, of course.
This is good TV.
It's very creamy.
Very creamy.
Very, very creamy. I always say, like, of course, I love adding salt, as
Yeah.
well as something like a raw honey to food, because I do believe that enhances flavor. But when it comes to the avocados and things like that, you actually a lot of people don't ever make the time to just taste it clean like this.
Yeah.
And I believe it's so important.
Super important.
Yeah. Because like you said, they tend to flavor it with the salt and the pepper.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It really does enhance flavor. When is too much and when is it too little?
Yeah.
This is
So I
absolutely
think starting with a
delicious.
base, where you have a good base flavor now I know, okay, this, you're right, it is very creamy. There's some sweetness, and then there's also a bit of umami coming through in the finish, and that I think it's like a unsalted full cream butter, like one of those really delicious ones that you've got to put on your toast before you put on your oven. It's that sort of buttery flavor coming through as well.
And it does have that lasting creaminess in your mouth.
Very good.
I mean, I've already forgot that I've consumed it, but I still have that creaminess in my mouth, and it's sort of a lasting taste, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I also didn't pick up any stringiness, any fibrous stringiness in my little bite that I had.
And then towards the end, I'm getting a little bit of that bitterness, but I think it's coming towards the peel. So if you head down towards the peel, but I think that's coming in more towards that umami, Marmite sort of bitterness, where it's not a chocolate bitterness. And that's the other thing where people say, oh, bitter is bitter. It's even bitterness. You've got chocolate bitter, coffee bitter. What other things? We've got beer. Some beers can be super bitter, but it's really good in that context. So in the avocado context, where you've got that umami, Marmite sort of flavor coming through, which is delicious. I like it. So we can come over to our wheel. We've got aroma.
Yeah.
The aroma I think is really good. I'm going to go for a 4. So we put our little dot on the 4 there. We'll show you this when we're done. Flavor, I love this flavor. So 4 or 5. What do you think?
Can we do a 4.5?
We can do a 4.5.
I'm going to go for that extra half just because I can.
Absolutely. And then aftertaste, so that lingering,
it does have a very strong
buttery,
aftertaste. Creamy, I would
umami,
say.
creamy. I think the bitterness might be a little bit high. That's the reason why I wouldn't give it a 5.
Yes, you can say that.
So when I score something, I'm always saying, why isn't this 100%? You say, oh, because maybe the bitterness was a little bit too lingering.
Yeah.
So that's why we'll go 4.
I always say when you score something like that, as soon as you can say but, then you know it's not 100.
Yeah.
You want to give it 100%, and then there's that but, and then you're not too sure, and that's when you know there is something there.
And the next one we have is vegetal. So it's got that. It is a fruit. We've established that, but it's got a little bit of that green, fresh vegetable
very much so.
flavor, which in the avocado is delicious. You don't want to have vegetal in coffee. That would be terrible. Having a coffee that tastes like cabbage. You don't want that.
I don't think someone like me would appreciate that.
I wouldn't do that. But the avocado really got that, so I'm going to go with 4, 4.5. What do you think?
I'll give it a 4.
4. And then sweetness. This is a scale of, like we said, 0 to 5, but it's also an intensity scale. So I didn't find it super sweet, but the experience, as I say here, was a pleasant experience. So if it tasted like sugarcane, it would be unpleasant in the context. So there's sweetness, not super high, but the experience is exactly what I want in avocado. So I'm going to go for a straight 5 here.
You can go for it.
What do you reckon?
I agree. Yes.
Acidity is another scale. Now, acidity is super complex. You've got so many different types of acidity. So if you think about a grape, think about a lemon, or think about an apple. That's 3 different types of acidity, but yet they all have acidity. So we put acidity, especially in coffee, you pick up these acidities, and they're really, really prominent. But it can be from Africa, you're going to have this real citrus, lemony, notchy type acidity, whereas somewhere like Central South America, you're going to have this great berry-like acidity.
More subtle,
And then coming from Asia Pacific, you've got some of those green apple-like acidities. So they're all acidity, and how does it work with their product? And here I think the acidity is quite low, but also quite delicious. So it's got a little bit of that zing. And I'd like to check the pH, if it is more base or if it's more alkaline, or if it's more, do you know?
It is more towards the alkaline side, I believe, So it's quite an anti-inflammatory, alkalizing sort of fruit. So I would say quite low in acidity, And my according to the taste, I can sort of pick that up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, there the acidity would be very low.
Very low, but the experience quite delicious. So we're gonna hit it for a 3, and then taste. And our taste is aroma, flavor, and taste all coming together. But specifically the sweet, sour, salty, bitter. I find it very balanced.
Yes.
So there's not
you sort of,
not overwhelming in every area.
That perfect moment.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The Viavi moments. Let's call it the Viavi
We're on
moment.
an easy 4.5 there.
Yes.
And then texture. You said it's not too stringy, which I concur.
Yeah, but you can even see, like, if you actually look at, I think this was my piece, not to play with your food, but yeah, I don't, yeah, I don't really, just from an appearance point of view, you can see it's quite a clean, smooth flesh.
And then something we both commented on straight away was that creamy, buttery, milky, full creaminess of it.
Yeah.
So we're quite high on the texture scale there, because that experience is a great experience.
100%.
So we had at least a 4.
4.5?
4.5?
Yes.
4.5.
I think let's give it that extra half.
And there we go. So now we add up all these dots.
Yes.
So we get kind of like a little spider diagram.
You see, art, people in school is important because this is where you get to use it. Have a look at that. So that is now our little spider web for Viavi avocado.
So you can see it's quite round. We've got a little bit of a dip in here. And if I were to make sorry, I'm covering your face there.
No, it's okay.
If I were to make a blend out of this, and I'd want to actually probably bring up the acidity a little bit more, and that's where foods like this pair so well. And that's why we put in lemon juice on our avocados. We put in a bit of salt to try and find that balance. And the human tongue,
tomato. I believe tomato can be such a great, partner in crime for this creamy avocado because of that little bit of acidity that it's got. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's where we find balance. And the human tongue, the human experience is trying to find balance. The more balanced it is, the more we enjoy it.
And there you have it, people, and it is as simple as that. So we have just done then our taste profile on our Viavi avocados.
We start to build up this lexicon.
Okay.
And when we've built that, we're going to have the first avocado flavor wheel in the world. And that will allow us to pick up an avo and really say to the person, like you would on the back of a wine bottle, the back of coffee, in this avocado, experiencing it on its own, you're going to taste nutmeg, sugarcane, whatever we find. And that for me is what's so exciting about this project. If we just quickly swing to completely the other side, let's go for a...
I just find it so interesting that, for years, avocado is quite a premium fruit in the sense of, it's something that you feel spoiled, and you spoil yourself when you actually buy that or add it to a salad. It's just that perfect ingredient to round off majority of dishes because you can add it almost to any and everything. And I find it so exciting that you can actually sort of put it in the same category as your wines and your premium coffees and your chocolates, because I do believe it deserves to be there.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. It's a luxury product, and
it deserves that little bit of credibility.
Look at us here eating our luxury products.
Yes.
So you can see, so we're off to a different varietal.
Yeah.
You can see the difference straight away.
Yeah.
Let me just get a little side-by-side comparison here.
Yes.
I think you guys have seen this before, but it's
you can
so
sort
cool
of give
to
it
see.
closer to the screen there. So now all of a sudden you can see the Viavi seed compared to the Fierte is already a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The colour is also slightly different on the skin. You can see that it's massively different.
Yes.
Super easy to pick up. Amaze your friends when you go out and say, "Oh, no,
This is your new party trick, people. You can pick up avocados and have
Tell the varietal.
quite an intelligent conversation around it.
So we're going to go back into those quarters.
Yeah. Look
Going
at
to
that.
have a taste of that. So I'm just going to pop your
Yeah,
spoon. So we
please
just got
do.
a little bit of hot water here.
So I'm just
And it's just to remove any of the oils and fats so we don't transfer flavour or anything like that. So we keep in our own spoons, we've got our own separate bowls to keep our safety in these strange
safety
times.
at all times. That is very important. Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to assess it exactly the same way, but I just want to quickly go through it so we can pick up the differences and see how vastly different the two varietals are.
Yes.
And you could, I encourage you to try this at home. The difference is obvious. People are going to say avos and avos and avos. Put them side by side, taste them, and straight away you're going to see the difference. and taste and feel. It's completely unique, which is a wonderful experience.
Oh, should
Well,
we go
thank
for
you.
it? Is that
That's your-
my spoon in the hot water? There you go. Just going to try it a little bit here. And over to our next taste in avocado. Now I am going to do that because I missed this step. Oops, completely.
Let's give it
Supposed
a
to-
quick aroma. So we do wash our hands so many times a day. But we also sanitize, and we have soap and hand cream. And
This is also a perfect avocado, of course, in the sense of,
really lovely.
yeah, I think it's a, of course we are in avocado season, so you find a lot of good quality fruit out there.
Yeah.
I must be honest with you, the nature element is not so much there.
So I think when we're assessing it, so quickly, this is a great avocado.
Yeah.
But we said this is the one that needs a little bit more help.
Yes.
So a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper, just to bring it back into that balance. The Viavi stands by itself quite comfortably, and this does as well. Great guacamoles, great for those smoothies,
Yeah.
those kind of things. But you do need to add a little bit to this. We struggled the most to get flavors out of this,
Yes.
but it is
Don't
there.
you find it sort of quite a, yes, like you say, it needs that little bit of upliftment?
Yeah.
I find that often this is a fantastic ingredient to add to dishes as well, especially
Really
if you're going to
great.
be enhancing it with different flavors.
Yeah, it plays well with friends. Yeah.
There you go. Team player.
Yeah.
Team player.
So for me, the straight out standout point is the sweetness. It's so much sweeter, which, well, like I said, put it in a smoothie is incredible because that sweetness kicks through. And it's got that nice, really nice finish as well.
I found the flesh a little bit more watery. It can also just be this time of the season because it is still early in avocado season. Well, I'm comparing, I was going to say apples to apples, but we are comparing avocados to avocados.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we just quickly swing around this little wheel,
Yeah.
texture, you saying that on the more watery side, you got a bit more of that grainy texture.
Yes, maybe
Grainy?
that's a better explanation, a more grainy texture
So
compared
it's-
to the creaminess from the Viavi.
Yeah, I think we maybe didn't do it any favors by going second.
Yes.
We're
We
comparing.
should have kept,
We should have gone
we should have
first.
kept the Viavi for last.
Yeah, so it's very good, but it's not extraordinary. So we're not on a 5 or a 4, but we're comfortably on a 3
Yes.
on that scale. Aroma, it's there, it's pleasant, it's clean, it's fresh, it's nothing pops out. I think previously we had that botanical,
Yes.
fresh cut grass.
Yes, remember I said it made me think of the golf course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on aroma, I like the aroma of the fuerte. It's very clean. There's not much complexity to it. So it's a very kind of like a Cadbury's chocolate, or like that I was talking about. So you just kind of
And just want to stuff your face
yeah,
with. Yes.
it's there. So I think we're on a 3.5.
Okay. That's a good score.
Flavor, it's a nice flavor. It's a good flavor. What do you think?
You know what? I think the average consumer out there would consume this avocado and think it's a good avocado.
Yeah.
Purely just because they have not tasted the Viavi.
Yeah,
So
it's a good
I
avocado.
would say from a flavor perspective, 3.5.
Yeah.
That's sort of my bet on this one.
I agree. Are you picking up any specific flavors?
It was quite sweet, like you said. For me, it did lack something. I'm not sure if it's more on the acidity side of things, but yeah, for me it was sort of a little bit more bland. So I don't know. Maybe you, the expert, you can.
Yeah, I think
Elaborate
a little bit of. So I found on the, just to quickly head back to the Maluma, the Viavi, we got a lot of the nuttiness, but it was more specific to a sweet nut.
Yeah.
So if you think of a macadamia or a cashew,
Yeah.
this here we're more on the almond side. So it's got that nuttiness, but it's more of that raw almond, dry mouthfeel, nutty sort of lingering flavor. And then, but it's also simultaneously got a syrupy sweet texture and flavor around it as well.
Okay.
So sweet, but maybe too sweet. and that's where we're going to bring it
That's
down.
why people love adding salt and the lemon juice. You know,
Correct.
to maybe bring that a
Balance.
little bit down and balance that out.
Fully agree.
Okay. We're learning a lot here. Ooh, we're learning a lot here today, people. I'm so excited. I'm throwing spoons around.
And then the aftertaste is really kicking in with that raw almond,
Yeah.
which some people love. I'm not one of those people. I like a roasted, salted almond.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, it needs that little bit of extra love and help.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to score it down on aftertaste.
Okay.
Just because I don't like raw almonds. And that's that dry, tannic sort of mouthfeel, which I don't like personally.
100%.
So I'm going to go low on that. I'm going to go down to 2. And then the vegetal, it's got that, I like it. I'm actually going to go pretty high on this one. That was a 4.5.
Yeah, it tasted like vegetable.
Yeah.
Is that
But
even a word?
it is.
Is that even a word?
It is. We're making up words today. And in a good way, I thought.
Okay.
It was that crisp green. We tasted here, this is a good avocado. So we're up on the 4.5. Sweetness was very high.
Yeah.
But this is the trick with this little particular wheel. The experience of the sweetness wasn't great. So it was very high sweetness, but not
It
pleasant
had that
sweetness.
buzz.
Yeah.
It was sweet and it was tasty, but you know,
Yeah.
so
Coming down to a 3.
You think a 3?
It's 3 or 4. 3.5. Sure.
Yeah,
Cut
I'll
it
say
down the
3 and
middle.
3.5.
Okay.
Yes, let's give it a 3.5.
And then we come to the acidity, which we were speaking about earlier. So it is that more alkaline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would score the acidity a little bit higher
Yeah.
than for the Viavi. I mean, that was just sort of.
The
That
acidity was
is
low.
cheating. You can't
I
do
want to
different scores.
remember what we said for that.
Yeah.
So
So I do feel it's a little bit more acidic.
yeah, and pleasant. I do think that pleasantness. So maybe you don't want to splash too much of the tomato or lemon juice, citrus. So up on a 4.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And then taste. So overall, how do we pull this all together?
Have we not scored taste yet?
I don't have a dot here.
There's lots of dots.
There's so many
I'm
dots.
just saying, like, there's
But I
lots of
haven't
dots
put
on
a,
that paper.
I haven't put a new dot. So I think taste was a good taste. That's the, yeah, bringing it all together, 3, 4.
3, 4.
3.5.
3.5. We're going to have to be going for 3.5, lots of them.
So now we
Today
quickly
on-
draw it all together.
There comes the artistic side in again, and that's why you have to listen in art class, people, because you have to be drawing funny little wheels when you do avocado taste profiles.
I'm not the best artist, but here we go. So we've got something a little bit different this time. So if we compare it to the
Maybe, yeah,
last one,
let's
let's do
compare
a
it.
side by
Hold this
side.
one for you.
Thank you. I cannot cover your face.
Let's do it like that.
So you can see there is a difference in the scoring, and this is just quickly what we've done now. But if you do it first thing in the morning, just before breakfast, where your palate is fresh and you're ready to really pay a bit of attention to it and put it
You
in.
know, sort of really see here, it's more of a straight line going sort of more the same score
Straight
over there,
across.
where that one goes up all the way and then comes back with a round curve almost.
But I think if we were to put these together, let's quickly go off script a little bit here.
You know, never stick to any script, people. That is what happens when you work with creative people.
I want to see what happens if we blend these two. So have a little bit of the one, and then a little bit of the other.
So when would this now ideally be happening? When you maybe still have both avocados at home and you want to make a guacamole and you mix them up?
See what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
So I've got a bit of both, and if we look at the two, the spikes on each of them, we overlay those in our head.
Yeah.
That should round it out a little bit, and it should be a well balanced, smooth, round. Maybe. Let's find out.
For it.
It's pretty good.
So are you telling the farmers out there, whoever is listening and watching, maybe to combine the two?
No.
Just don't challenge
No,
them,
no,
because
no.
I think they've done a phenomenal job of
Amazing.
creating the art.
And it's the same thing if we go back to, also getting excited here. If we go back to the coffee, a Kenyan coffee, or my personal favorite is the Ethiopian coffee.
Yeah.
You've got this floral, citrus, light, but you've got this beautiful aromas that come with it. if you take a bit of Tanzania and you blend it with that,
Yeah.
you get more balance.
Okay.
I'm not going to go to the Tanzanian farmers and say, I want you to change your coffee. They have something unique and that's special.
Yeah.
And we put the tea together, we have something else that's different. And I think that's where the opportunity to play with your food and experience, blend the two together, throw in some tomato, throw in a bit more salt, see what happens. And I think coffee, wine, there's rules, but they're designed to be bent and sometimes even broken.
So people make notes. Matt just gave you permission to play with your food.
That's what I do.
Yes. Now, Matt, we have not done the third avocado yet, which is of course the Hass.
Yeah.
There's some similarities with regards to the Fiat, and then there's of course from a skin point of view some similarities with regards to the Viavi, but it's more sort of to the red, pebbly, darker purpley side. So what would be the next step? Are you going to develop these notes and keep us updated? We are of course going to be uploading all this information to my Facebook page as well as the Viavi Facebook page. So be on the lookout for that, because at the end of the day, we keep saying that a Viavi is not just another avocado, and today, just by comparing it to the Fiat, we already have established that there is such big differences. So from my side, my name is Isabel Hoffman. I'm a lifestyle chef, and Matt Carter from Tribeca Coffee. We will keep you updated, of course.
Thank you.